You've been listening to some extraordinary testimony from Michael Cohen. We are now in the 9 o'clock hour of Good Day LA. I'm Alex Michelson, along with Megan Colarossi, legal analyst Sara Azari, along with us as well. Michael Cohen calling the president a racist, calling him a liar, and describing what life is like in the Trump organization.
So I just have a simple question. How's it going for Michael Cohen, and is he credible? I mean, we've been sitting here for almost 2 hours listening to him.
And so many cheap shots by Republican members of this committee about his credibility, that he's a convicted felon, that he's lied over and over again, that he has committed frauds, and why should the American people believe him? I'll tell you why. He has absolutely zero incentive to lie at this juncture. He's a convicted felon. He's going away to prison for 3 years, and committing a crime means more time. Lying to Congress is a crime, and the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York can charge him with that crime and add time to his 3 years. He has no reason to lie. And another reason why he's not lying is he's walked in here with exhibits. He has proof of what he's going to testify to today and what he's been testifying to. He has the $35,000 check that Mr. Trump signed as partial reimbursement for the $130,000 hush money payment. He has tweets. He has financial records of Donald Trump. He has it all. So corroboration leads to credibility. It lends credibility.
But of course, this is a political theater.
Spectacle.
This is not a legal issue at this point. If he does lie and it's proven that he's lying, that could be a legal issue down the road. But the thing that people at home are probably wondering right now, okay, so what does this mean? Does this mean that the president's going to get impeached? Is this the beginning of the impeachment process, which is itself a political process? And one of the big headlines of the day is him talking about Roger Stone and WikiLeaks.
Right.
Explain why that's news today and why that matters so much.
It matters because Roger Stone has vehemently denied communications with the president about the WikiLeaks dumps of the DNC emails. He said that he's never spoken to the president about that. The president didn't know about that. And here we have Michael Cohen sitting in a room listening to a call from Roger Stone to Donald Trump on speakerphone a couple days before those emails were dumped. It's extraordinary. It's astonishing. It's huge. And Roger Stone is indicted for, as part of what he's indicted for. So it's bad for Roger Stone's case, but it's also really bad for the president, and it brings him much, much closer to Russian collusion.
And the president has also told Robert Mueller's team in written testimony that he had never talked to Roger Stone about WikiLeaks.
Absolutely.
So if that is proven to be true, and right now it is not, it's one man's word against another, but if the special counsel is able to prove that to be true, that could be perjury for President Trump, which is, of course, what President Clinton was impeached for.
Right. It's perjury. It's, again, goes back to the question of why does this president lie every time the question of Russia comes up? Any topic, whether it's the Moscow Project, whether it's the WikiLeaks emails, anything that has to do with Russia and Russian officials, he lies about and he covers up. That Roger Stone conversation on speakerphone is probably the most astonishing aspect that was in his opening statement, and that we're going to hear him talk about more and more and get questioned about. But overall, Alex, aside from the political aspect of this that you brought up, there's also a lot of legal stuff going on here. There is potential bank fraud by Donald Trump when he inflates his assets to get bank loans. That is classic bank fraud. Okay, defrauding small business owners by not paying them back, telling them, go take a hike. All the lies that he's told over the course of the years. 10 years this man has been just deep in the universe of Donald Trump.
Well, we have so much to break down with that, because a lot for people to process. I'm just saying, there's a lot of information.
It's overwhelming.
But what was really dramatic this morning was the opening statement. Let's go back and take a look at Michael Cohen in his opening statement.
Mr. Trump directed the Trump Foundation, which is supposed to be a charitable organization, to repay the fake bidder, despite keeping the art for himself. Mr. Trump is a racist. The country has seen Mr. Trump court white supremacists and bigots in private. He is even worse. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair, and to lie about it to his wife. I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores.
Here's the situation. You have someone who's been labeled a rat, Michael Cohen, who is disparaging the President of the United States. And so you have a he said kind of situation here. And we're trying to break down credibility. Who is coming off as more credible? Because Donald Trump is saying he's a liar.
Michael Cohen is an admitted liar. He is redeeming himself. He is coming clean. This is like the final chapter to his book down the line, right? He's clearing his name. But Donald Trump is a habitual liar. I mean, Michael Cohen's testimony...
To some people, not all people.
The Trump team today is saying that Michael Cohen is lying. Both Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump have been tweeting during this.
Right.
They say that when he talked about the fact that he didn't want a job in the Trump administration, that's a giant lie. They say everybody knew that he was lobbying for a job in the Trump administration, and they say that he committed perjury once again, and he's trying to inflate his role.
But the bigger lies by Cohen are the lies that led to his the lie to Congress previously, the lies to the Southern District of New York prosecutors. Those are the lies that really matter, not really the lie about whether or not he wanted a job in the White House. But the point of the matter is that today, given what's hanging above his head and the additional time that he could face and the corroboration that he has with him in terms of exhibits, there's a far better chance that this man is telling the truth today. There is no reason why he would be lying.
It's an interesting choice by the Republicans so far. They do not seem to be asking a lot of questions about the president's behavior. It seems like most of the Republican strategy on this is to try to undermine Michael Cohen's credibility.
Right. Right, and it almost becomes a cheap shot because it's so redundant. And Michael Cohen is doing an incredible job at addressing these questions. You know, he's not denying that he's lied before. He's admitting that he's lied before. He's explaining why he lied before Congress previously, because his testimony was actually reviewed and revised by the Donald Trump legal team. You know, he's explaining the lies.
Let me just ask you a simple question. Out of all that was said so far, what is most damaging to Donald Trump, President Donald Trump? Because things that they're talking about before he was elected, maybe during the election, is it more damning while he was president? What's a impeachable offense?
I mean, look, impeachable offense is anything that Congress deems as a high crime or misdemeanor. This is a very broad category that gets voted on. Now, here's the deal. I think during his presidency, the fact that he so vehemently denied the hush money payments and knowledge of them, clear as day, we now know that not only he directed the $130,000 payment, he told Michael Cohen to do it out of his own funds so it couldn't be traceable back to him, so it doesn't harm him in the 2016 elections. And now we have, during his presidency in 2017, reimbursement of the $130,000.
We have
see
the check.
But they say that's for a retainer.
But it's not. There's no retainer agreement. There's no
retainer
agreement. So let's say Donald Trump says this is a retainer. Where's the retainer agreement? You're supposed to have a signed retainer agreement with your lawyer. There is none. There was no retainer agreement.
And we should remind people also there's a difference between impeachment, which would be the House, which would be a majority of the House, which they could do with all Democrats, and to actually convict or remove a president would require 2/3 votes in the Senate, which would require a whole lot of Republicans to vote to get rid of President Trump, and we are nowhere near there now.
We're going to wrap this up, but we can agree on is this was very powerful today.
Yeah, and there's more to come.
More to come. Rita and Vanessa will be joining us when we continue right after this break.